Don't place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. What I want to do, guys, is I want to talk about this one chart that I talked about last week, actually. And I mentioned this last week because I said that this one chart says it all, or this says it all, right? And what this chart is here, this is based on the real GDP. Now, what we're looking at here is we're looking at the real GDP in Q2 in quarter Q4 of 2019 in variation to Q1 in 2021, right? So we've just recently finished. So this is a bit late data, right? There's a bit late data here. But what this gives us is a gauge of where we were at the end of Q21 and what was happening behind the scenes. And so we've just recently finished Q2, right? So then now we know we need to see the latest data to see what's happening through here. And as you can see, this is actually the real GDP when it comes to all the countries. And you can see that at the start, or the China over here, this is China over here. They actually had the real GDP, right, negative, and then suddenly we can see we've actually started to have some really good positive numbers come out with when it comes to the real GDP. India is second off the rank here. Now I'm pretty sure India didn't actually lock down as much as, I don't think they locked down at all, did they? I'm not sure. Leave a comment below, guys. Let me know if that's true or not. Again, I'm having me keep an eye up to date on exactly who got locked down and so on and so forth, but if you can let me know, I'm pretty sure I don't think they actually did get locked down. You can see they actually had a good positive there. And then obviously in Australia has actually had a slight little number there. So I expect, especially in Australia, I expect to see a lot more higher number. But then you can see even South Korea had a little positive number. And then down the line, you can see like United Kingdom. United Kingdom's getting hammered. We've got Italy as well too, Eurozone, Germany, France, Mexico. All these are negative. I would say that they're probably starting to slightly become into the positive now, based on what happened, or maybe not. Maybe because a lot of these, UK and so on and so forth are still going through these lockdowns. Maybe we're not going to start to see some positive real GDP numbers in. It might be Q3 of this year that we see that. Now the reason why this is a big deal is, guess what? It's called a lot more printing of money is coming along the way. And the reason why I mentioned that is, where are stock markets right now? All-time highs. Where are interest rates? All-time lows. Or zero, basically, right? Low, very, very low. So with all that being said, guess what? Even though stock markets are very, very, very high right now, this tells you that there's a lot more upside to come when it comes to the stock market and even asset prices in general. And yes, they are the Fed, and what is happening right now, because they're focusing on the real GDP and also the unemployment numbers, they are focusing on that, and that is creating one big massive bubble. And yes, we will see a crash. This will not end well. But in the meantime, it's going to be, in the middle of a bubble, guys, it's one of the greatest opportunities. And that's why I love it right now, because from now through the next, it actually started this year, basically. This year has been crazy, but this Q3 and Q4 of this year, we've just started Q3 this year. And then looking at Q4, we have especially what I just mentioned here, we have just one of the most inflated and continue to be most inflated bubbles we've ever seen. And this is probably going to be so much bigger than 2000 and 1929 based on where interest rates are and the amount of money that's been printed. So, you could easily see a 15 to 20% rise out of Nasdaq. I believe you could see a 25% rise out of the S&P. Now, by the end of this year, that's obviously, anything can happen day by day and week by week, but by the end of this year, that's where I see those numbers. And so this will not end well. But in the meantime, this is one of the reasons why I see so much more upside, even though we're in an overvalued economy and the markets are bubbling and so on and so forth. This is one of the biggest things out there that I see when it comes to the stock market and the big bullish move that I continue to see happening in the overall stock market itself.